شي مرة فكرت ليش بيتم تجييش الرأي العام مع بداية أي حرب طويلة، وليه بيتم استعمال الأطفال والأمهات الحوامل كصورة مؤثرة لاستجذاب العاطفة وسيطرة السردية المطلوبة عند الرأي العام؟
She's about 3 months pregnant right now.
A pregnant woman who made headlines around the world.
Pregnant woman seen around the world after images of her being carried on a stretcher has died. Her baby also killed after Russia bombed a maternity hospital.
Amid the rubble of a maternity hospital captured hearts around the world. Now she's given birth.
All birthing mothers always have to live through so much, but in Ukraine, they have to live through too much.
من أول ما بلشت عملية حماس ب7 أكتوبر كان في تعاطف دولي من جراء قتل المدنيين بالمستوطنات الجنوبية.
Chilling dashcam footage shows Hamas militants shooting directly at an approaching car just an hour earlier.
وصار في علامات استفهام كبيرة عن سهولة العملية. بلش الإعلام الإسرائيلي يستعمل عبارة 11 أيلول الأميركي.
The Israeli military says the attacks launched by Hamas on Saturday are like the 2001 terrorist attacks on the United States.
This is, as someone said, our 9/11.
We've seen it described as Israel's 9/11.
Since I said it, it turned out to be 10 times bigger than 9/11.
It was like 15 9/11s.
This is our 9/11, the spokesman said.
أي يعني مقارنة بأكبر حدث إرهابي بأمريكا، الحدث اللي غير خارطة الشرق الأوسط ونتج عنه أكبر حملة إسلاموفوبيا على مدى عقدين، وكمان لاستدراج العطف عند الرأي العام الغربي لتذكرهم بالمرحلة والتروما اللي قطعوا فيها. واستعملت عبارة قطع رأس 40 طفل بالإعلام الإسرائيلي.
Babies, their heads cut off. That's what they said.
وطلع كله كذب.
Yeah, heads were cut off. This is what we're hearing from soldiers on the ground, and yes, they cut off heads. They cut off heads.
وهيدي الكذبة بلشت الصحف العالمية تتناولها بالأول كأنها مزبوطة من دون ما يتأكدوا من صحة الخبر.
Israeli Prime Minister's spokesman just confirmed babies and toddlers were found with their heads decapitated.
No, we had been hearing reports that this had happened.
It was repeated on the front page of the Times newspaper by reporter Anshel Pfeffer.
حتى الرئيس بايدن كذب.
I never really thought that I would see and have confirmed pictures of terrorists beheading children.
Which was a lie, by the way. He actually hadn't.
And why some media outlets and the White House have retracted the claim. The Israeli army could not confirm beheadings.
The original claim was traced to David Ben Zion, a fanatical Israeli settler and Israeli occupation forces soldier who has previously called for the eradication of Palestinians.
بس الحروب اللي صارت من أكثر من 30 سنة لهلأ معظمها بلشت بكذبة، وأسلوب استعمال الأطفال لكسب عطف الرأي العام منه جديد. بحرب الخليج الأولى طلع بوش الأب واستعمل الكذبة اللي انفضحت فيما بعد.
312 babies were killed when Iraqi troops pulled them from their incubators.
And the president said that he had seen it on CNN and that he was shocked at some of the things that he had heard.
And they were thrown out of the incubators.
President Bush repeated the incubator story at least 10 times in the following weeks.
Babies pulled from incubators and scattered like firewood across the floor.
ورجعوا جابوا الطفل الكويتية نيرة.
It's been said many times, in war the first casualty is truth. To get Americans, perhaps any people, to support a war in a place millions barely heard of, certain buttons must be pressed.
جابوها على الكونغرس وشهدت زور عن الجنود العراقية وقالت إنه عم يقتلوا أطفال بعدهم خلقانين.
While I was there, I saw the Iraqi soldiers come into the hospital with guns. They took the babies out of the incubators. Took the incubators and left the children to die on the cold floor.
واتضح بعدين إنه كله كذب.
They couldn't stand the story up, and it became quite clear to us that credible medical opinion was that this didn't happen.
And it wasn't just Amnesty International. The story did not hold up under repeated scrutiny by reporters and human rights investigators.
بس مين ساعد إنه يدفش هيدي السردية وقتها؟ مساعد وزير الخارجية الإسرائيلي بنيامين نتنياهو.
The question is really, how do we ensure that these weapons of destruction, these missiles, these chemical weapons, the nuclear program that is fast accelerating in Iraq, that these do not pose a threat in the aftermath of the crisis, assuming he gets out of Kuwait. This is an issue for the entire international community.
رجعوا من بعدها استعملوا كذبة أسلحة الدمار الشامل لحتى يغزوا العراق، وبوقتها اللي دفش لهيدي السردية كان كمان ما غيره نتنياهو.
There is no question whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question whatsoever.
وطلع كله كذب.
Looking back, Colin Powell remembers this day as a painful blot on his career.
وبقى على العالم نتنياهو إنه إسقاط نظام صدام هو شيء إيجابي.
If you take out Saddam, I guarantee you that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region.
وكلنا عرفنا النتيجة بالنهاية.
The decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq. of Ukraine. Iraq. Anyway.
بحسب يونيسف 2360 طفل فلسطيني انقتلوا بغزة لهلا من جراء القصف الإسرائيلي.
More than 2,000 children have been killed in Gaza.
وبعده الرئيس بايدن بيقول لك انه ما بيوثق بالارقام المطروحه من الفلسطينيين رغم المشاهد اللي عم تطلع كل يوم على التلفزيونات والمحطات.
And Biden questioned whether the number of Palestinian casualties provided by Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry was even accurate.
بس بيوثق بقصة اخترعوها عن 40 طفل انقطع راسهم من دون أدلة.
I never really thought that I would see and have confirmed.
بحرب روسية على أوكرانيا استعملوا صور وقصة مع طفلة لاستعطاف الرأي العام.
I see European people with blue eyes and blonde hair being killed, children being killed every day with Putin's missiles.
Relatively civilized, relatively European.
And this is not a developing third world nation. This is Europe.
بحرب إسرائيل على غزة 2360 طفل منهم كفاية لوقف إطلاق النار.
I just have to have the thought of me dying in a bomb in Gaza. Like, it's not a good thing.